Have you ever bought a new outfit or some shoes and just immediately thought, yeah, this ain't for me? Well, imagine what Triple H thought when he had to carry around the spinner belt. That's right, we're doing wrestlers who didn't fit the belt. Most of these aren't necessarily picked out of lack of popularity at the time of achieving the title or any kind of lack of effort given by the performer. This is mostly chosen by the optics of them with the belt. Who looked wrong with these championships? Let's go find out. Remember when the GOAT came back to WWE in 2010, 13 or 14 years past his prime, and had that boring and super disappointing stint against McMahon? Well, during that time he got roped in with The Miz because The Miz was an inescapable part of the product. I don't know why they had such a hard-on for him, but they sure softened up when they made it to Toronto for Raw. Brett did nothing in this match that they had together but sharpshooter this little geek and win the belt. It was such an odd moment that just reeked of a ratings trap. They really just wanted to pique interest without really doing anything important. I truthfully have no idea why this happened. Brett looked really out of place in 2010 with the wrestling belt. It really devalued the title. And talk about devaluing titles. How about Kane squashing Chavo for the ECW belt? Chavo was never meant to be taken seriously like some killer champion, but Jesus Christ, man, Kane decimated him. And then the big red MAGA went on to look like a total dork with the belt. If it wasn't already patently obvious that that championship was meaningless by the time that Vince awarded himself with it, it sure as hell was once Kane got the ECW belt. But hey, if you disagree, and I'm sure a lot of people will, holler at me in the comments. I read them all. Now we're going into the transitions between eras round. These title reigns got stuck in the odd middle ground between two wrestling eras, and they will be very taxing to remember. Charlotte Flair with the Divas title is cursed. That's the AJ Lee belt, if anything. I was watching Raw and SmackDown through her entire reign, and it just felt so odd that they kept the butterfly belt for so long, looking like that into the supposed woman's revolution. But how about Triple H with the spinner like I mentioned earlier, or the network belt for that matter? These both just reeked of an aging main eventer needing a toy to pacify him for a while. I can't justify Triple H with the spinner belt at all. It's super cursed. It honestly looks worse than him with the undisputed belt. But, I guess he must have felt that Roman would click as a babyface once he got the old Hunter Hearst Helmsley rub. Well, we saw how that turned out. Remember this bozo holding the Undisputed Championship? Yeah, we had a month of nostalgia mania running wild before Big Evil spared us all, and Hogan went into hiding for the summer of 2002. I'm truly shocked they let this happen. They were in a tailspin with the whole WWE name change. If the plan was just to make Triple H the Harley Race of the company and let him run roughshod for years, why have him job to Hogan at all if you made so much of an effort to build him up in the build to Mania? This is a very short-lived entry, but an odd one nonetheless. Jericho with the European title looks fake. This looks like AI. This was such an odd byproduct of the fixation of multi-man matches at Mania 2000. He lost the title literally the next night to Eddie Guerrero when Chyna became Eddie's valet. I guess it resulted in something good. I'd just be hard-pressed to find anyone who thought this was a great idea. This next one is a real stinker. I love Mick Foley. He's one of the most influential wrestlers ever, but he had no business being in TNA as an active wrestler. He would have been a great manager or an authority figure. This was just sad. The TNA belt looks so rough on him. They could have at least kept the NWA belt. That had some prestige. The pinnacle of the second biggest company in the world on a guy that had already been chewed up and spit out by the wrestling business for 24 years at that point. This was wrong. There's so many other guys that were hungry and deserving. Our final entry is Mr. Consolation Prize himself, Roman Reigns. And I'm not going to talk about the US title run. It was what it needed to be at that time, and it was whatever. But man, what was Roman Reigns doing with the Intercontinental title in 2017? This was the guy who had already main evented WrestleMania. He was getting murked by Brock Lesnar all the time for the supposed important belt, the Universal title. I just truthfully think he looked beyond out of place with the Intercontinental title. Great looking belt, terrible belt holder. And I think the only good thing that came out of this reign was that match with Miz that so many people cling on to try and say the Miz is a competent wrestler. I hope you all enjoyed. Holler at me in the comments with your own suggestions. Take it easy. Stay safe. I'll see you later.